Thank you, Pastor. Thank you all for being here, for taking the time to come out and meet us and hear what we have to say. My name is Gail Eastman, and I may not look like your typical immigrant, but I'm an immigrant to California and to Anaheim. I grew up in the Midwest in Michigan, grew up in a middle-class kind of family. My dad was a construction worker, owned a small construction company. So I grew up with the values of hard work and participation. My mom was the chief volunteer in the schools and did many things like that, and she was also a teacher. So I had good, just middle class, middle America values when I came to Anaheim as an immigrant in, 32 years ago. So I've made my home here, even though my children have moved on, and I have 3 grown sons and I have 6 grandchildren. And that was one of the things that made me very sad when my sons married and decided to buy their first home. They didn't buy it. And I think that was one of the very beginning things for me that inspired me to begin becoming a little more involved in my community, starting with neighborhood council. Walking a precinct to help get someone elected to the city council so that we could get more attention in the neighborhood where I lived. Excuse me. I was in the central part of the city in what's commonly called now the historic district. It was the first historic district, and that was my first real involvement, was to get involved in creating a historic district. And that led me to volunteering for the Planning Commission, because I was always around plans and building and talking about that kind of thing growing up. And that combined with the fact that my own sons were moving to a different city where the schools were better or where they thought the home values were better, that inspired me to get involved in trying to make my neighborhood better. So I've worked behind the scenes for over 20 years in downtown Anaheim, making it a better place to live. I served 8 years on the Planning Commission. While I was on the Planning Commission, I wrote a history book about Anaheim history. And it's for 3rd graders, and I make sure that I work very hard with the business community to raise the funding to pay for all of the books for every 3rd grader in Anaheim so that they get a free history book to study history out of. I don't take a penny for that. I'm able to just leverage the fact that a lot of business people know me, care about our city, and want to see our children provided for in the educational realm. So, going to
Thank you very much, Ms.
I'm
Calloway.
sorry, I wasn't paying attention.
Oh, no problem. Everyone's doing so good, I think I'll stay out of the doghouse.